Hey, what's up guys? I'm gonna unbox and review the GoPro Hero 11 Black Creator Edition, which comes with a few extra things. But looking at the back, it's a 27 megapixel sensor, 5.3K 60 frames per second, 4K at 120 frames per second, or 2.7K at 240 frames per second. It's still waterproof up to 10 meters, 1080p live streaming, 8x slow-mo, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's actually pretty similar to the GoPro Hero 10 Black. I mean, it's a tiny bit better. The sensor is a bit more at 27 megapixels and a few other things. I noticed that it also has this new Hyper View, which doesn't exist on the Hero 10. It has Hyper Smooth 5.0, which is the anti-shake system that they have, which honestly, even from the Hero 9, because I have the Hero 9 and the Hero 10, this is what I mainly use when I go on my scooters. They're both amazing at keeping a stable video while you're riding, in bumpy scenarios and everything. I'll get the GoPro Quick app, which is actually the same app you use for the other GoPros to update them. This looks, looks nearly identical. Okay, it does say 11 here, but so when I'm quickly grabbing my cameras, the GoPros, I know real quick the Hero 10 is blue and the 9 is gray. So even if I don't see it from this side, if I see it from the front, I automatically know this is the 10. But now it looks like this one is also blue. So it looks maybe a tad bit darker, but that might be because this one's faded a bit. I'm not sure, but now I actually have to look at this to see, okay, this is the 11. All right, let me put the 10 back. And yeah, so this is how you open this. You can actually take this out entirely. And this is actually one of my favorite accessories because it keeps the USB port open. Granted, with this, it's no longer waterproof. But this is something that when you put the battery in, it's just super convenient because you could just access the USB-C directly without taking that out. But again, it's no longer waterproof when you do that, so just as a heads up. And it looks like it's the same battery and the micro SD card goes here. And this is the same type of thing where if you have one of these handles, this kind of folds out. I think they started that with the 9? Or was it the 8? I forget if the 8 had this. It might have started with the 9, but it's very convenient. It works very, very well. Okay, so this is the mod for it. I haven't actually used a mod for the GoPro, so this is going to be a new experience for me. Yeah, and then, okay, yeah, that connects, and then this is probably, yeah, okay. So I guess this is how you slide it in, you close it. You do have to take this cover off. And USB-C, mini HDMI, and looks like a 3.5mm audio. This is the LED light that would go on the top, and we have a battery. It's the same size, but these new ones probably last longer, so I'll take that out and pop this one in. They also sell these things separately, so you don't have to get this as a bundle if you don't want to. But with this, you can actually control it, which is kind of nice. If you're doing a selfie and stuff, you could turn it on, turn it off, recording, change the modes. So it's kind of nice that you can do all of that stuff straight from here. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, oh, you can even attach it here as well. That's kind of cool. Alright, so we have all the parts, USB-A to USB-C, another USB-A to USB-C, longer than a foot, but not by much. This is similar to the one I have, where it looks like you can also access the USB-C this way. I'm assuming that's also not waterproof. And looks like you can mount this somewhere else. This is what you use to mount them. So I'm just gonna take the Hero 10 since the Hero's 11 is in there, but essentially you slide it in and then you just tighten it, and then you can choose the angle that you want, so you know, however you want to do it, and then just tighten it and it typically just stays there. All right, more clips. So this is for those special things. So sometimes people put this on their helmets or something else. So it's 3M tape. They put this on their helmet, and then you basically just pull this thing up and you slide it in. You could go in either direction, doesn't really matter. But essentially what you do is you slide it in, snaps in. Then when you push this rubber piece in, you can't take this out anymore. This is to reduce wind noise, and it looks like it just slides in. And yeah, there's a little rubber piece inside above the foam, so it kind of just slides in so it sticks there. This is what the internal microphone sounds like with a little bit of wind. Next, I'll be testing it with the Medium Mod's microphone. This is what the Medium Mod microphone sounds like when I'm outside. Very little wind. Yep, that's pretty much it for accessories, and we get some instructions here. Outside of the box, it also came with a micro SD card, 32 gigabytes. Gonna slide in the micro SD card and pop in the battery. And already at this point, the battery won't come out. I mean, it will come out if you're writing or doing something, but if it's just sitting here, it's not gonna come out. It kind of semi locks in place. We got our GoPro updated with the GoPro Quick app. Gonna turn it on with the side button, and this cover is perfectly designed for this VoltaGrip, the USB-C, which keeps this thing charged. Now, going over the basic menu, we have our SD card, our memory card, and it tells us how much time we have left until it fills up. We have our battery percentage. It does show it's charging because it's connected to the Volta. And we have our slow-mo, normal mode, basically the speed, the frames per second. You can go up to 120 frames per second, down to 24 frames per second. I typically keep it at 30 frames per second. And if you go low enough resolution, you can actually get to 240 frames per second. So with 4K, it only goes up to 120. Now we have the different types of views. So we basically start off with linear with the horizontal lock, and we have linear, we have wide, super view, and finally we have hyper view, which says like, hey, we need to go to 60 frames per second to go into the hyperview mode. And you can almost see the edge of, well, you could see the edge of my shirt once I go to hyperview, and you could see the little stuff that I put in the back, just so you guys can see, like, it's pretty much getting quite a bit of the angle. All right, then we have our different presets, which you can also add your own or modify the existing one. So the way you would do it is you can quickly jump to a preset, like, hey, I want to record at 5.3K, 30 frames per second, HV hyperview. Or I could say, hey, I want to go to activity real quick, which was where I was at. And if I want to change activity, I could click on the pencil icon next to it. Well, once it clicks, there it is. And we have a whole bunch of options: 16:9, 4:3, 8:7. Pick the different resolutions: 120 frames per second, 60. If we go down to 2.7K, I can start picking 240 frames per second. So you have a lot of options. When you're done, you tap on this and you're good to go. Lens, you could change that. Hyper smooth, you can change this on the main menu as well, but this is on boost. You can have it on auto boost. You can have it on hyper smooth on or completely off. When this is off, there's no no video stabilization, I should say, and it shakes quite a bit. I've done a scooter ride. I'm going to show you guys what the differences are. But those are the main options that I touched. The top three. The duration, I leave it at no limit. Hindsight's kind of a cool feature as well, but ever since they came out with it in Hero 9 or 10, I forget which, I haven't really used it that much. So those are the main options that I use, and then you get your, special stuff if you want to adjust your ISO, white balance, sharpness, all that other stuff. So a whole bunch of options here. And so I'm going to go back, and then we have our different boost modes, which is what you guys saw in the menu. You can overwrite it if you want. And this is the hindsight, where it pretty much starts recording, and once you think that, oh, that was the moment I wanted to capture, you could go back, essentially. It's kind of cool, but also, is this something I use? No, not really. And then you can either swipe left to go to time lapse. I'll show you guys an example of that as well. which actually looks really cool. Or you could swipe right, which goes to photo. Or you can also do time lapse. I mean, you can adjust it from the button as well. Or you can adjust it if you have the Volta grip, you can adjust that, and you guys get it. Lots of options that you guys could do from here. Now, the menu is at the top, starting with our voice activation. Does it work? Kind of. Is it great? I pretty much skipped that. This is if I wanted to beep on or off. This is the shutter control. Oh, quick capture, I should say, not shutter control. Quick capture. What this does is, this button on the top looks like it's going to be the power on button, but it's actually not. It's just the record on or record off or take a picture, basically start the recording. Now, if you have quick capture on, even if the GoPro is off, if you touch this, it will turn on and record. And then when you touch this, it'll stop recording and turn off. So I like that feature. I left it on. You can do a screen lock if you want. You can choose how you want your front screen to show. If you want to just show the numbers, the status only. If you want to do full screen or actual screen, or have it completely off. So I have it on this. And you can also have the orientation locked if you want. Then when you slide to this side, video mode, you can put it on highest quality or extended battery. I just have it on highest quality. Quick controls, when you first get it, it's actually set to easy, which gives you less options. I usually, and actually let me show you guys. So with that, you see that there's less options here. So I'm used to this Pro thing, so that's what I like it with, and yeah, that's what I use. So if I get rid of this, you see those options are back here. Alright, so, and going back to preferences, and if you guys are wondering, is this as good as a cell phone when you're clicking through stuff? No, not really. It's not terrible. It's normal. It's obviously a new iPhone or a new Android is going to be way better than this. Way more responsive, I should say. If you have the GoPro subscription, they allow unlimited storage directly from a GoPro, which is something that I chose to do, which is pretty awesome. And the way you do that is you can also turn on auto upload, so every time you plug it in to power to USB-C, it automatically updates. And then when it's done updating, it asks you like, hey, do you want me to erase it from the GoPro itself? Or you can also have that set to auto. Wireless connection. So when you get this Volta, the way you connect it is you go to connect device, and then you click on Volta right here, which is already connected, and it tells you to just hold this Bluetooth button for 4 or 5 seconds and it connects. And then you can actually use this to control it, and the USB-C does not need to be connected for you to control it. And going into general basic stuff, beep volume, quick capture is on. If you want it to auto power off, I have it set to 5 minutes. LEDs if I want them to be on, and anti-flicker. And really, GPS I have this on, and voice control I don't even bother with it. Displays, this is the other one where I say the screensaver rear, I want it to turn off after 2 minutes because that saves battery life. So once I click record, 2 minutes later the screen will turn off. And then you can set a different time for the front screen. You can have it always on. You can say don't even turn on. You know, I just say match the rear screen essentially. And for brightness, you know, 50%, and if you want a grid or not, which I said no. And essentially language, daytime, mods, and all the other basic stuff. Now, when you're done customizing this thing to your liking and you start recording, the way you access your recordings is you just slide up, and then you could basically, this is one that I just did outside, and you could go through your videos, and if you click on this, you see all the videos. So I've done some scooter rides as well. And so let's just say if I pick this scooter ride, I can press, you know, play, it'll play it, and then if I want to fast forward it, I could turn off the sound. I can fast forward it really quickly with this, which is pretty awesome. I really like this feature that you could super fast forward very, very quickly. Now, that's the gist of the menu right there. Now, if I disconnect this, I can scroll down, and let's just say if my connections are set, connect device, Volta, and press and hold the Bluetooth button for 4 seconds. So it connects. And then this doesn't need to be connected for me to control it, which is kind of cool. So I can turn on recording, I can turn it off, I can switch between the modes if I want to. It's totally up to me. This is the battery percentage and Bluetooth button. So yeah, there it is. And this can also act as a stand as well, which is kind of cool. And if you guys are wondering, this one also twists. So there you go.